Chosen ones, the fact that Trump has ignored and disregarded you has now become a source of great regret. Now, with his old power and arrogance, he feels deeply how big a mistake he made in ignoring you. His mind is now forced to accept the truth, which is now crumbling against those old egos that used to mock and belittle him. The misunderstandings and silence of the past are confronting him with a power that he will find it difficult to stand in front of. Because you have continued to rise and assert your true power no matter what. Write 888 in the comments now before it's too late. He is forced to realize all this. You've always felt it, haven't you? Like being awake in a room full of people still lost in their dreams. For so long, you were the lone observer, watching the masquerade, knowing deep down that something wasn't right. The world around you clung to its illusions, believing in the stories that were carefully spun by those who had the power to manipulate. And yet, you could see through it all, the cracks in the story that others missed. You were the one who sensed the truth, hidden in plain sight, even when everyone else was blind to it. And now, the world around you has started to wake up. Like a crack in a dam, the truth began to seep through, and now it bursts forth with unstoppable force. What was once hidden beneath layers of manipulation is now being revealed, and those who thought they could suppress the truth are watching it unfold before their eyes. The illusion they built, an empire of false authority, has been shattered, and now the very foundations they stood on are crumbling. What they passed off as wisdom was simply control, cleverly disguised as guidance. And now, the veil has been lifted, and the truth is flooding in. As the fog of deception lifts, those who once followed without question are now standing at the crossroads of realization. Their eyes are opening, and they can no longer ignore what has been in front of them all along. What seemed like your personal battle, your isolated truth, is now becoming a universal awakening. You are no longer the one who is dismissed or misunderstood. You are the beacon, the voice that others now recognize as the warning they should have heeded. The weight of what you've always known, that knowledge that was once yours alone to carry, is now being shared. No longer a solitary burden, it has been passed on, igniting a spark in others. The realization that was once reserved for you is now spreading, and its power is undeniable. You have been the catalyst, the one who held the truth, while the world turned a blind eye. But now, that truth cannot be ignored. It is like a fire that has caught wind, and it's spreading far and wide. The awakening is happening now, and you stand firm at the forefront, no longer silenced, no longer invisible. What once seemed like your own quiet battle is now a movement, a rising tide that cannot be held back. The voices that once dismissed you are now in retreat, for the truth you spoke has been validated, not by words alone, but by the undeniable power of collective recognition. The world is waking up, and the echoes of what you've always known are reverberating across every corner. The time for silence is over. The time for awakening is now. There's no coincidence in this timing. Everything that has happened to you, every sign, every sensation, has led to this moment. Just as a sudden storm clears the fog, your clarity cuts through the confusion. These signs, these shifts in energy that you've felt in your body, they're not just random occurrences. They are the universe calling you into alignment, guiding you to understand something much deeper than mere chance. Patterns begin to appear where once there was only chaos, and now you see them for what they truly are: divine signals placed carefully along your journey. This newfound awareness has unlocked something inside you. Your spirit, which once struggled to comprehend the forces at play, now feels every beat of truth that passes through your being. It's like waking from a deep sleep and realizing you've been dreaming of something far more powerful than you knew. The universe has been leading you all along, planting the seeds of understanding within you, and now the fruit is ripe for the picking. You know this truth. Your body recognizes it before your mind can even catch up. Your soul was always attuned to the deception around you, even when your conscious mind remained unsure. The shift you've experienced in your body, those odd sensations, the physical pressure that seemed to come from nowhere, these are not just coincidences. Your energy centers are alive with information, pulsating with the divine messages that are meant to guide you. When your heart feels heavy, it is the universe asking you to pay attention. When your throat tightens, it's not a simple discomfort, but a signal to speak out, to let the truth you've carried inside come forth. This physical communication is a sacred process, allowing you to speak from a place of divine wisdom. Your ability to heal, to turn pain into power, has always been within you. And that ability, which you once questioned, now radiates outwards, making an undeniable impact on those around you. People are drawn to your energy because they feel the safety your presence provides. It's not just your words, it's the very essence of who you are. The calm within the storm, the healing force that quietly mends the broken parts of others without effort. You've always known this power was there, but now it has become clear. You are a catalyst for change. Your energy transforms everything it touches. This is why the forces that once controlled you and others through deception, fear, and manipulation felt threatened by your very existence. Just by being who you are, you challenge the foundation they built their empire upon. Your authenticity exposed their falsehoods without you needing to say a word. The very light you radiate forces them to confront their darkness, and they couldn't allow that to continue. Your healing abilities have never been bound by conventional methods. You don't need to work hard to help others heal. It happens simply through your presence. It's a frequency, a vibration that harmonizes the chaotic energies in others, transforming them into something pure. You don't need to try, chosen one. It's not about doing, it's about being. Your energy shifts the world around you without you even needing to make an effort. You create healing by being true to yourself. And in doing so, you help others remember the truth of who they are. This gift you possess explains why they targeted you with such precision. The deeper they went into their manipulation, the more your light shined. The stronger your connection to Source became, the more they tried to dim your shine. And yet, they failed, because no matter how much they tried to pull you down, your natural state of being, your truth, your authenticity, kept rising. It was a threat to them that they couldn't control, no matter how hard they tried. People are naturally drawn to you for this reason. They can't explain why, but they trust you. They share their deepest wounds with you, the parts of themselves they've hidden from the world. The bond they feel to you is not physical or mental, it's spiritual. Their souls recognize the healing potential you carry. They feel safe to open up in your presence, to let go of the pain they've held on to for so long. And as they do, they unknowingly begin their own healing process. This is not a coincidence, chosen one. This is your divine mission. You were not just given this power for yourself. You were given it to help others find their way. You have always been connected to the greatest spiritual truth that the world has been seeking. Now it's time to fully step into that power. Your authenticity, your healing presence, and your unwavering connection to Source are the tools you will use to help others find the truth and heal themselves. Your journey has always been part of something much greater, and now you are ready to fulfill that purpose. The world is waiting for the truth you carry. It's time to share it. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. You've always been aware of something beneath the surface, haven't you? Something that didn't quite match the image others saw so clearly. While the world danced in perfect harmony, following what seemed like a clear and shining path, you couldn't help but notice the cracks in the pavement, the ones they tried to hide. You saw the hidden manipulations, the little lies, the things others were too blinded by the illusion to recognize. And though you've questioned it, wondered why your perception was so different, the truth is now rising to the surface for all to see. Your resilience has been tested in ways most could never understand. For years, your inner wisdom, your very being, was relentlessly targeted. Like a precious tree in a field of weeds, your growth was stunted by those who sought to keep you from flourishing. But as the years passed, their subtle attacks grew clearer, and now they can no longer hide the truth. You stand tall, having weathered the storm, while others now wake up to the deception they once supported. What you once feared to speak is now shouted across the world, and what once made you doubt is now solidified in undeniable truth. The systematic undermining of your strength was never by chance. Those who profited from the shadows feared your clarity, your connection to something far more real than they could ever pretend to offer. Their false promises crumbled the moment you began to understand the truth behind their words. Your natural gift to heal, to transform suffering into peace, shone like a beacon, and they couldn't let that light threaten their power. They targeted your heart, the very core of who you are, and sought to suffocate your voice, to make you question what you knew to be true. But every time they tried, your inner strength grew, unshakable and unbroken. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. As the world around you stood in awe of the so-called spiritual leader's charm, you could see the cracks in their facade. The very truths they used to mislead others were so evident to you, yet no one could hear your warnings until now. You weren't wrong. You weren't imagining things. What you knew in your soul has now become the undeniable truth that everyone else must face. And in the midst of their lies, you stand strong, your voice ready to speak the truth that had been silenced for far too long. You see, their influence wasn't built on genuine connection, but on carefully crafted illusions that they knew you could see through. They tried to make you doubt your own instincts, to make you believe their smooth words over your own inner knowing. But what they failed to understand was that your light could never be dimmed by their manipulations. It shone through their every trick, revealing their true colors to those with the eyes to see. Your authenticity was the very thing they feared, because it revealed that their power had never been real. It was all an illusion. The more you leaned into your natural gifts, the stronger you became. You didn't have to try to heal others. They were drawn to you, compelled by something they couldn't explain, and in your presence, they found peace, healing, and truth. It wasn't your effort, but the simple fact that your energy resonated with theirs. Your presence in their lives shifted something deep within them, just as your presence in the world shifts the very energies around you. You didn't have to force anything. You simply existed, and in that, you became a beacon of light and truth. This power, the one that heals, transforms, and uplifts, is not one that can be understood by everyone. It's a divine gift, one that the false leaders could never fathom. They tried to suppress it, to weaken you with their attacks, but every time they tried to undermine your light, they only strengthened it. Every time they tried to make you feel small, they only made your spirit soar higher. Your connection to the divine is not theirs to control, and no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't sever the bond that was always meant to guide you. And now, as the veil lifts, you see it clearly. Your life, your struggles, and your awakening were never in vain. The forces that sought to keep you down never realized that they were only serving to prepare you for this very moment. They never understood the power they were up against. But now, they have no choice but to see what was hidden, to recognize the truth that was always present in your soul. You are no longer silenced. Your voice will be heard, your truth will be shared, and the world will finally see the full extent of what was done in the dark. They thought they could manipulate the system, create barriers, and keep people in the dark, but now the truth is breaking free. The community that once followed blindly has begun to awaken, and their eyes are opening to the manipulation they once embraced. You, chosen one, have played your part in this awakening, and now the world will understand. What was hidden is now being revealed, and the light of truth cannot be stopped. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. The more they tried to disrupt your peace, the more you found yourself standing firm, unyielding. Though they sought to cloud your clarity and silence your voice, they were never able to break your inner connection. These forces of opposition had one goal: to make you doubt your own power, to sever the divine link that had been so carefully nurtured within you. But their attacks were like shadows trying to cover the sun. It was impossible to stop the light from rising. Your path of awakening may have had obstacles, but it never strayed from the inevitable truth that you were always meant to uncover. When they interfered with your moments of stillness, it wasn't by chance. Every disruption, every discomfort in your body was a subtle attempt to prevent your deeper understanding. But rather than dimming your connection, these disturbances only sharpened your focus. You started to recognize them for what they were: calculated tactics to break your concentration, to turn you away from your natural flow. But no matter how intense the interference, your awareness expanded, and you saw right through the distractions. These obstacles weren't random. They were deliberate efforts to block you from embracing your full potential. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Like a ship sailing into a fierce storm, the closer you got to your true purpose, the harder the winds of opposition blew against you. They tried everything to throw you off course, hoping that the waves of doubt and confusion would turn you around. But what they didn't understand is that no matter how strong the storm, the ship that is built to withstand it doesn't falter. It only strengthens. Every attempt they made to push you off your path only revealed their true motives, not to guide, but to control. Their fear of your awakening was far greater than any of the obstacles they could place in front of you. As you drew closer to your truth, they redoubled their efforts, believing they could shake your foundation. They sought to distort your emotions, twist your thoughts, and even silence your voice. They wanted you to second-guess what you knew deep in your soul. But with every manipulation, every attempt to cloud your clarity, it became more and more evident that their actions weren't about you. They were about their own fear of being exposed. They thought they could weaken you by targeting your ability to speak the truth. But what they didn't know was that you were never meant to be silent. They were afraid because they knew, deep down, that your truth would shine a light on their falsehoods. Every attempt to block your progress only gave you more fuel to keep going, and the more they tried to pull you down, the more you rose. You were not broken. You were becoming the very thing they feared, a force of truth that no longer could be hidden. You were never the one who needed fixing. You were never the one who was weak. The more they tried to silence you, the louder your spirit grew. Their insecurity and manipulation could not change the fact that you were always meant to rise, always meant to stand in your truth. And now, as you stand taller, clearer, and more confident than ever before, they can no longer deny what they tried so hard to suppress. You weren't just facing external opposition. You were facing the very essence of deception, trying to keep its grip on the world. But their power was never as strong as your connection to the divine. It was as if a force far greater than anything they could muster was protecting you, shielding you from their attempts to sabotage your growth. Their efforts to control you, to suffocate your spiritual development, were never going to succeed. You were a flame they tried to smother, but all they did was make it burn brighter. In the moments when you faced their attacks, you felt the divine protection surround you. This wasn't just luck or coincidence. It was divine intervention, strategically placing people and signs in your path just when you needed them most. What they intended to use against you became the very thing that forged your spirit into something unbreakable. Every attempt they made to weaken you only strengthened you, and the divine presence that surrounded you turned every challenge into a stepping stone. You may have been targeted, but that targeting was the very thing that sculpted you into a force of unstoppable energy. Your gifts, divinely inspired, could never be suppressed. No matter how they tried to cut you off from your spiritual source, the divine wisdom continued to pour through you, untouched by their interference. They had no power over the connection you hold with the higher realms, and every time they tried, you became more aware of just how invulnerable your true nature is. Your connection to the divine was never theirs to sever. Your dreams, your thoughts, your very being carried messages from the divine, especially in those liminal spaces between waking and sleeping. Symbols, numbers, and faces, things that they could never comprehend, guided you with precision, helping you navigate through their manipulation. Their power was limited to the physical world, but your spiritual connection existed beyond their reach. This truth was becoming clearer by the day. They were clinging to the material world, but you were anchored in something far more powerful, something that could never be touched by their influence. Like a slow-moving river that finally breaks through a dam, the truth has begun to flow freely, breaking past the barriers that were once in place. The community that was once trapped in silence and confusion is now waking up, and the very foundation of their old beliefs is shifting beneath them. What they once thought was unshakable is now cracking wide open, revealing the power of your journey and the strength of your spirit. It's like watching a flower bloom in the midst of a barren desert. What was once thought impossible now bursts into full, vibrant life. Whispers of doubt, once hushed by fear, are now rising into a mighty chorus that cannot be ignored. The truth, which was once hidden, is now shining through with undeniable clarity. Those who were once caged in by uncertainty are now standing tall, their voices rising, fueled by the light you have sparked within them. Each small crack in the illusion is like the light creeping through the smallest opening, growing and growing until the darkness cannot remain. One by one, the barriers that held them back are being broken down. And now, what started as quiet murmurs of suspicion has become a resounding call to action. The community is beginning to see the truth for what it is, clear, powerful, and undeniable. They are no longer afraid to speak out, and they are no longer afraid to stand in their own light. This is the power of your journey, chosen one. What they tried to suppress in you, what they worked so hard to keep hidden, is now blossoming, not just within you, but in all those around you. The truth you carry, the strength you have shown, has sparked a flame that is now igniting the hearts of others. What was once darkness is now light, and as each person begins to step forward, the entire community is transformed. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. And the beauty of it is this: the more you stand in your truth, the more others will do the same. Your voice, once silenced, has now become a beacon for others to follow. It's time for the community to step into its full power. And it all begins with the awakening that you helped spark. As more voices join, the momentum builds. The awakening has begun, and it cannot be stopped. Once one soul dares to speak out, others follow. Your courage to face the truth created a ripple effect that now circles outward, connecting all those who were once too afraid to speak. Those who remained silent are now stepping forward, their voices growing stronger with every moment of clarity. The collective voice of awakening cannot be ignored. What once seemed like an insurmountable wall of control is now crumbling, piece by piece. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. What they tried to disguise as truth has been revealed for what it is: a network of deceit. They manipulated the community into believing in a reality that was never theirs to control. The pieces of the puzzle that were once scattered now align perfectly, revealing the patterns that were hidden for so long. What you once feared would never be believed is now undeniable. Their tactics have been exposed for all to see, and those who followed blindly are now seeing the light. Now the community is taking back what was rightfully theirs: their power, their truth, their autonomy. It will no longer be a place of deception, but a space of collective transformation. What was lost has been found, and through this awakening, those who were once trapped in confusion are now stepping into their own power. The lessons learned through struggle will serve as the foundation for a new way of being. And those who tried to suppress you and others will now face the consequences of their actions.